Top Concerns 2020 and Implications and Action Points for Tech Teams. We're talking about what are the business targets that CEOs will have for their companies in 2021 and how should tech teams build their readiness for it. We're looking at talking about what should CIOs and IT leaders do to rebuild the future of their enterprise. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by Manoj Madhavan, CIO Blue Dart, KNC Nair, CIO the Muthoot Group, and the chair of the panel discussion is going to be Soumik Goswami, Partner Technology Consulting, PwC India. Thank you so much to the gentlemen for joining us today and giving us your valuable time. I'd now leave it up in the able hands of our chair to kindly take it forward with his panel. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thanks, Bhavna. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Very good afternoon. Thanks to be here, two eminent panelists, who have been running two very important business. So taking a cue from what Bhavna spoke about the CEO's agenda in 2020, more than I think rebuilding, it is about reinventing the future. And in this whole journey of reinventing the future, there are a few key aspects that we should be looking at. I think as lockdown or the pandemic hit us, it was more about repair, how to immediately take stock of things and get business going. Then I think people, went back to the drawing boards because the lockdown continued, the pandemic continued, there were surges in terms of the cases. And there was a time when people had to rethink strategies, rethink the business models, rethink what they want to do and how they want to do, which led to reconfiguration of a lot of businesses. And that journey continues. It's not only about 2020, maybe 2020 kicks off the new normal, which is going to continue for some time. I personally, who used to be 4 days in a week on a road, kind of caged since March, and now I'm talking about December. So you can understand. And that's the new normal. That's how we need to work. Let us look at some of the, broad, outside in view. I was reading one of the analyst report, and it spoke to various CEOs. And there are some good outside in view that the CEOs given. 78% of CEOs believe shift to remote collaboration will be an enduring change. 70% felt automation will be the enduring change. 61% CEOs felt shift to low density of people in workplaces will be the change for future. 54% of CEOs felt shift to gig economy will be the future. So if you look at some of the takeaways, it spoke about two key disruptions that has happened due to pandemic. One, a huge disruption in technology. And second, huge disruption the way we used to look at talent or handle talent in our respective companies. On that aspect, we have two, eminent experienced panelists who come from two very different businesses and have been working with their respective CEOs to make things happen. Mr. Madhavan, who's a CIO of Blue Dart, a company which is in logistics, all known to us. And I think one of the business which got highly impacted both in good ways and bad ways. Good way because logistics was the need of the hour, because people went home, people started working from home, everything needed to be delivered to the door, starting from medicine to essentials to whatever you wanted to have. And second, Mr. Nair, who comes from Muthoot Group, a very, very diverse group, and one of their flagship businesses also in the financial services area, where they provide a lot of loans, where they provide a lot of services and solutions and products. If you have to buy something, if you want to admire or aspire to have something. So welcome both of you. And let me kick it off with you, Mr. Nair.
Okay.
As pandemic kicked in and people started realizing that this is going to be there for some time, cash became king. Everybody wanted to conserve cash. Everybody wanted to ensure that they start saving it for the gray day. You were in a business which wanted to push consumerism, which was in line of how people can be helped by providing loans, who aspired to, say buy a new car or, buy a new house or, invest in something, etc., etc. I think your business was also one which took a big hit to start with. When you went back to the drawing board, and your CEOs asked you to relook at some of the elements of the business, what were the first two, three things as CIO that came to your mind that you need to look into to ensure that one, the business doesn't suffer agility. Second, how do you get to know your new customer in a different world? Over to you, Mr.
Okay. Yeah, you are very true, Mr. Goswami. In fact, this came out of a uh, blue. I mean, this pandemic, and suddenly, lockdown was declared, and our branches could not be opened. So this is a line of credit, as you know. People, take as a last resort wherever they don't have any other line of credit. They decide to pledge the gold ornaments. That is, our flagship company, the Muthoot Finance, is dealing with this gold loan. Gold is taken as an asset, and amount is given to the customers. And this company actually professionalized it. Even though gold loan is a very old concept of maybe a few centuries, but this Muthoot Finance, they have brought standard processes and apply technology to the hilt, and they came out with a loan as fast as taking cash from an ATM. So that tremendously helped us. But then suddenly, out of blue, this lockdown was declared. Our branches could not be opened. So the challenge was actually given to the digital team. So fortunately for us, 4 years back, a similar crisis came. That was in 2016. You remember the demonetization. So prior to that, 95 or more percentage of our loans were actually given in cash, the hard cash at the branches. So after that, that was an eye opener for us. We realized that, going forward, digital channel has to be open for the customers. So we have, you know, included customers into the digital channels. We started our own digital channels, whether it is web or app in mobile, etc. And slowly we were, converting these customers to these digital channels. That tremendously helped us. At this time, in April, none of our branches could be open most of the time, but still we could maintain, other than new loans pledging at the branch, or taking away after releasing the loan. Except that every other transactions we could do through these digital channels. So and of course challenges were there, and our digital team was fully mobilized. We fortunately for us, again, we had only a few months back, we had this Google Workspace implemented across our organization. So that tremendously helped us in collaboration and coordination with all the members. These two helped us in providing this almost kind of business continuity. And that in when our fully branches were fully locked, we could achieve around 50% of the total transactions during that month, only through the thanks to the digital channels.
Mr. Goswami, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, very sorry. Thanks, Mr. Nair. I'll come back to you in a few minutes because you touched upon a very important aspect of business continuity. So I will park that thought with me. Let me come to Mr. Madhavan. Mr. Madhavan, your industry, which is logistics, kind of was on the supply chain of companies got challenged, and there was a need to build a very efficient, resilient supply chain because everything, starting from people buying essentials to medicines, people not even buying anything at any point in time on the net, started buying, everything on the net, and there was a always on customer, which posed a huge challenge to a logistics industry. And the logistics industry primarily leverages a lot of technology to make things happen to the last mile. What were some of the learnings and what were some of the digital transformation interventions that you all took up in line with the vision of your CEO to ensure business continuity in logistics business?
Yeah, well, from our logistics standpoint, and if you look at the specific industry that we are in, as we call ourselves as the express cargo, player, and being one of the biggest and the most trusted player in the industry, one of the most important factor for us was to ensure that the customer experience was not impacted significantly. When I say this, it also means that uh, like you said, the e-market or the e-commerce market kind of really opened up, whether it was food services, medicine, or the normal web shopping that people did. It actually exploded in a particular period, just after that first initial lockdown periods of starting from somewhere around mid March to mid April. And as slowly as we were, as an economy, we were releasing these lockdowns. What was more critical was to ensure the safety of both the customer and the employees. We, like you mentioned, we are in an industry where we could not take a large break. We took a small break for sure, but 90%, 95% of our people were back at work pretty fast. There was a lot of training done to our staff, field staff, in terms of sanitation, what it means to be having gloves, having masks, regularly using the hand sanitizers and stuff like that. And I think that was at the time when we introduced something called contactless delivery, which was a term which we kind of brought into the industry by saying that uh, you can have your parcel dropped at the doorstep, and we ensure secure way of delivery of parcels through maybe the OTP way, because we already had handhelds which were given to our delivery folks pretty many years ago, and it was prominently being in use. But for example, you would have experienced that when a blue darter comes to your doorstep and he or she hands over a parcel, you're supposed to make a digital signature on the device. But which also meant that too many touch points. You understand what I say, touch points, when it means I give my device to you, or if there is a physical copy because the customer who sold it to you is asking for a physical copy and stuff like that, which meant that more exposure to touch. And we really work backwards with our customers to make them understand and aware in terms of what kind of risks both parties were looking at. One is our employees, and secondly even the customer with whom we were interacting. And fortunately, kind of everybody agreed to move quickly onto the digital secure way of OTP. So I would my guys would come to your doorstep, and I would hand over a parcel to you. I will ask you for an OTP to ensure you're the right person, and I do an entry of the OTP, and the parcel is secure, which means it is still contactless, right? But you still get your parcel on time. There were certain challenges in terms of getting people back to work in the right places where there were a lot of shipments which were coming in and stuff, especially if you look at the time when towards mid of April, when a lot of people were getting back into their villages, and you really had shortage of manpower in the city. A lot of our people really stretched themselves, worked overtime, and we have cases where people really, I mean, it was irrespective whether it's a delivery boy, whether it's a supervisor, manager, or whoever, and everyone was out there trying to help. The government had issued passes for us, which meant that we could move through areas where it was restricted. But yes, we always made sure that the containment zones were always alerted to our staff, so that they don't venture into the containment areas or containment zones. There were SOPs which were laid down, which meant that you could actually deliver this stuff at the gate, but the secure OTP would ensure that the right person picked up the shipment and things like that. And if you look at what Mr. Nair said about demonetization and stuff like that, we had integrated the whole digital payment, wallets and net banking and credit cards and stuff like that very early into our venture. Maybe we were ahead of our times when we did it, but it really kicked in with demonetization. And with this kind of a pandemic hitting us, actually took off into a completely different zone. I mean, if it was around 4 to 5% before, now it's around 20, 25, 30%, because again it's a point of saying that no touch, right? I mean, I'm not taking your card from you, I'm not swiping it and stuff like that. It's all digital. We've integrated about 15, 16 wallets. We've got about 50 plus bank gateways signed up. You don't need a credit card swipe machine with us. We send you a link, you can kind of make payments and things like that. So largely it was to try and see how we digitize the customer experience without really impacting the kind of service or the expectations that the customer had. I think that was the biggest focus. And like you said, the CEO's demand was that, I mean, customer service, the topmost thing, the customer experience has to be the best. That was the mantra, that whether it was tech, whether it was ops, whether it was customer service, it was the key thing that was being driven down the organization. It is still the key thing that we all hold on to very close to our hearts. We can't hear you, Shamik.
Mr. Goswami, you're on mute, please.
Hello. Is somebody
Yes, we
having the
can. We can hear you now. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Madhavan. You touched upon few very important things of how to deliver the same service and experience though being touchless. That points me to another question to Mr. Nair, that your business has been built on trust. There's an element of exchange of a physical product which is certified, tested, quality done. Then you assess and give loans. When you move something like that or some business like that totally online, you have two, three key things that plays in my mind. If I can put myself in your shoe, one, where does the trust element come from? Because there is a physical verification required, which is probably not happening. Second, is there an element of fraud that can creep in? Third, could there be an issue of data privacy also? So how do you build a hybrid technology model to ensure that the trust or the brand, doesn't get impacted, even if you are moving a full brick and mortar to a very digitally transferred world of business?
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned these two, three very, very vital aspects of, financial sector service. Financial sector, banking and finance, as I need not emphasize, it's purely based on trust. And for our company, which is operational, this is the 130 year of their operations. So they have built this trust over the decades. So, but that has to be retained. And how we did was, we have actually used the updated our processes so that to provide comfort to the customer. For example, if the branch is open, then when they bring their valuable jewelry, it will be appraised on the quality, and the video is taken, which is actually captured in our system. And at any time in future, any kind of a dispute is there, they can verify that. Gives them comfort. And plus we print a photograph of that in the pledge form to them, so that they can have it with them. And then of course during the pandemic time, when it was branches were not opening, so we thought the customer, we can't expect the customer to come to our branches for taking a loan. So let us, we thought, this has been there in our mind for long, but then due to various other aspects, we did not push it. Since after all, there is a kind of stigma, especially, the outside South India, about pledging your gold and taking a loan. I mean, as a in the society, etc. So that's why we delayed. But then this pandemic gave us a thought on that. Why can't we actually go to the customer instead of customer coming to our branches? So we have actually brainstormed, and finally we came out with a product known as the loan at home. This loan at home, all the KYC and other things can be done by the customer online, and our own branch staff will go to their home or their workplace, shop, or wherever it is, on pre-appointment and time, and where the video KYC can take place also. And then the asset can be, the collateral can be handed over to our branch. So we have actually, that's a new channel or new product we have introduced, which has been actually well accepted, especially some of the small traders, businessmen, who found that normal working capital line of credit is very difficult to get in these times. So that is one way. Other is actually we have campaign. There was a campaigns done for capturing the bank account of these customers. So most of the, thanks to the financial inclusion, most of the lower end customers also have bank account. So we actually did a campaign to map the bank account, so that they can they need not actually take cash or repay cash. Everything can be digital. So that tremendously helped, and we have made all the processes so that other than handing over this ornament, the gold, to the branch staff and taking it back. Other than, everything can be done digitally, whether it is remitting the interest or then sitting at, fortunately for, as you know, this gold, the price movement again is a contra kind of a commodity, as you know. Whenever crisis comes, the price goes up. So that again helped us. The crisis came, the pandemic came, the gold price has shot up. So if I say I pledge a gold ornament of 1 lakh rupees, I have taken only, let us say, 50,000 at that time. Now the gold, the price of that jewelry itself may be 1.5 lakh. So, and we enabled the digital top-up kind of thing. I mean, if I taken only 50,000, anytime, digitally they can actually top up that loan. I can take 10,000 or 20,000 up to we calculate the loan to value percentage. So till that amount, they can actually top up sitting anywhere, anytime. So, and the amount can be credited to their bank account, etc. That has tremendously helped. Or they can make the repayment online. Let us say, they have the money now. They want to close the loan. They can close it, and at their any time in future, they can come to the branch and collect the ornament. So, in short, we have enabled all the digital kind of channels and devices, so that they can transact with the organization fully online, digitally. And of course, we are asking about the risk, the fraud and risk involved. So that is, in this business, it's a very simple business actually. Why many other companies or a lot of players are not coming is, it is very easy to start, but then to scale up is extremely difficult, since that process, it cannot, on the average loan is around 40 to 50,000 rupees. So to increase it to, let us say, 1 million customer, it takes years. So and to, let us say, achieve, say, 1,000 crores, it may be, it may take 1 year, but to achieve 10,000 or 20,000 crores, it may take many years. So that's why That is one of the peculiarity of this business. Another is the risk. Gold is as good as cash. So how will we actually ensure this security? The customers are very wary about the safety and security of the ornament they pass. After all, it's a jewelry. It is not really, suppose we insure that, but then even if that let us say dacoity happens and we reimburse the money, it's not, that jewelry is not only the of money value but of sentimental value to that particular customer. So we had to ensure it, we had to secure it 100%. So what we have done is every branch is having a very a strong room at par with the banks. In fact, I worked in a bank. The bank strong room is, the bank's cash handling, of typically a branch maybe, 2 to 3 lakhs or maybe 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs. Even if somebody, some dacoits come and loot it, then they may get only 4 to 5 lakhs in cash. But in our typical branch, it can have 10 crores, or some branches are there 60, 70 crores. And once it is lost, it can be a cash. It's as good as cash. So how to ensure it? We have actually put video surveillance camera and digitally connected all these 5,400 branches, connected 25/7. Again, we are using some of the AI kind of technology, including face recognition kind of technology we are using. And there's a big team which is monitoring 24/7 to ensure that this gold is actually highly secure. And then again, the internal frauds, there can be internal frauds also, such a large operations. So that again, we are using some of the modern analytics tools and other kind of risk management tools. So that is how we are taking care of the risk and fraud.
Thanks, Mr. Nair. So I'll come to Mr. Madhavan. Mr. Madhavan, client acquisition is a very important aspect of a business, new client acquisition. So from a business continuity perspective, in terms of trying to acquire new client, I'm sure that you would have thought of various front office technologies to engage with clients much better, trying to help them understand your product portfolio. What kind of digital transformation are you thinking or have you embarked upon to ensure that your client acquisition strategy to be connected with the prospect or your existing client uh, is leveraged very heavily by the use of new technologies?
So Shomik, I think that's a very critical point that you've touched upon in terms of how do we acquire clients, because logistics is a business where you typically tend to find a lot of new players who have come in, especially in the last 4 to 5 years. Most of them are startups, and they really kind of talk about how tech is changing the logistics space and things like that. But if you look at the way Blue Dot has been operating, it's largely saying that we have tech and ops kind of so strongly inbuilt into the bloodstream of, or the DNA of the organization, so that when the sales guy actually is coming in and talking to a customer, he's actually talking to you not just about picking and delivering your shipment, but giving you a complete logistics solution. I mean, this includes the way the data gets transferred between the customer and Blue Dart using APIs, how secure is our systems in terms of data protection, and like I said, how digital we are in terms of the way we process the whole shipment right from pickup point to the handover to the consignee. In fact, it's like saying that every passing minute, you can actually get an update of where your shipment is and how it is moving. Whether it is in a warehouse, whether it is in a hub, whether it's in a CPU, whether it's been outscanned for delivery, whether the person, how close he is from your residence and stuff like that. So you can actually track and trace your shipment right from the point of pickup to delivery. And this is what we offer to our customers also, in saying that we give you real time visibility to the way your shipment is being handled by us. And this happens through APIs. So, for example, if I scan your shipment, Mr. Shomik, and now here, the next millisecond, your system would have an update saying that Manoj has scanned a shipment in, say, Mumbai. So you exactly know where and how your shipments are moving. We have a control tower which our people use across about 3,500 locations, who know that based on the pickup which is being done, when is that particular shipment which is supposed to hit my destination going to hit me? Is it 24 hours? Is it 48 hours? Is it 72 hours? Depending upon the mode of transport and the route that is being taken. We have a network module which kind of gives you a permutation combination of 19,000 pin codes into 19,000 pin codes, looking at the best and the most optimized way of moving your shipment through our channels. So, and we share this visibility with our customers. If you look at the kind of work that we do with some of our customers, let's say for example, when we work with Apple, Apple recently launched their website in India, and they also wanted to engage with somebody who could actually do a technical evaluation of a product if it was an exchange. Say for example, you are ordering an iPhone 12 and you want to exchange your iPhone 7, 8, or whichever. Our person coming at your doorstep could actually do a tech eval of your product, and with an online response, say that yes, this product is as per you mentioned, can be picked up and exchanged with your current product. Barring the leaving aside the other points of all the other tech experiences. So these are the kind of solutions which we build with customers, depending upon how the customers want. For e-commerce, there were different kind of operating procedures. There is some things which, let's say you ordered a particular item from Amazon and you want to return it, and Amazon wants a particular check to be done on it. That's when our guys, when they come to your doorstep, they do the quality check, and then they take it and pack it in front of you, so that you know that whatever you have returned is secure, and the person back at the Amazon warehouse also knows that it was securely picked up from your location. So these kind of things are also what we put in place. And like I said, every action that happens in our systems, we share it through real-time APIs to our customers, so they are also aware of what is happening out there. And that's one of our selling points when we kind of interact with our customers.
Thanks. That gives a very nice insight into some of the action that a technology has to perform just to engage with the client and ensure that service delivery, service level agreements, which all actually, goes and links back to the brand and the trust for the company is ensured. I'll come back to both of you to have some thoughts on, because it's a new world. All these interventions of technology and new technology getting adopted in a very short span of time needs a huge amount of reskilling, and it's a big investment. You cannot reskill everybody overnight. It's an investment of time, patience, money. What has been some of the thoughts to digitally upskill your workforce to counter the new world? Any one of you can go first.
Okay, maybe I can start here. See, one of the key things, like you mentioned, is upskilling of customers, but employees. But one of the things that I thought was far more prominent in terms of upskilling and training was about the fact that we need to really look at the pandemic, which normally every organization is prepared for a crisis. The crisis, when I say crisis, I'm talking about business continuity plans and solutions which are in place, which can kind of be enabled when an event happens. But if you look at this particular COVID, which is kind of a black swan event which has happened, the time frame for which it is running is kind of pretty stretched, right? If you really look at it, the real risk that the organizations are today running is also about people doing crisis management for such a long time that there is a sense of exhaustion which hits in. There's a sense of burnout which people are kind of going through. So as an organization, what we are really looking at is to see how do we keep our people motivated. One is upskilling in terms of how do you work from home, how do you ensure that you are upgrading your skills in terms of whether it is your own areas of work like operations or health or other things. But we are also focusing significantly on the mental part of the employee's health. With this, we have kind of signed up with a lot of doctors who can interact online with our people. And for example, I could just log into a system which we have given to our employees. It's available on the mobile. It's available on the laptop. I can actually go in. I can talk to a person. I can talk to an expert. I can take consulting in terms of, maybe I'm feeling down, I'm feeling stressed, because the timelines in which we used to work is kind of is gone for a toss. Previously it was like you were in office, let's say 9 to 5, 6, and you would kind of travel home. In cities like Mumbai, it might take an hour and a half, but by 8:30 you kind of free from that. Then you kind of cut off from the office to a particular extent. I'm not saying 100%, but you would still be at least 50, 60% now in your homes. But your work from home, what it has done is 24/7, you're in the office and home. I mean, that is creating a different kind of pressure on people who are not used to it. And what has happened is, like I said, the stretch of the pandemic has made it difficult for people to operate. So we really tell people to take breaks. We tell people that it's important that you ensure your mental, emotional, and health balance. We have sessions which go around that, and I'm emphasizing on these points more than the real tech skills, is because tech skills are something which we have been regularly helping our people to upgrade with online trainings. Offline, previously it used to be sessions which were done either by trainers who used to come to our place, or our people go into institutes and get trained and stuff like that. But these are times which are looking at not just, let's say I've got a bunch of analysts in my office. I mean, they can online keep getting trained on new and newer skills and algorithms and stuff which are being released by, let's say, a Google, Amazon, or even say Stanford and MIT for that matter, because they have been putting out all this stuff online. But the key thing is, if I have my employee healthy, both mentally, both emotionally, and mentally, then I have him or her being able to uh, give much more to the organization. And as an organization, whether it's our management, the senior management team, whether it's the CEO, whether it's the HR head, or in fact even DHL as a group globally, we're really focused on our employees uh, right now in every possible way to ensure that they are healthy and well. Because if they are healthy, they're happy, and they're doing well, they can do better service, which means end state, my customer is happy because my employees are happy. I mean, that's the kind of focus that we have. And of course, yes, I mean, all those trainings which you can think of are all available, whether on a mobile or whether on a laptop and stuff like that. It's all digital. I mean, I believe the podcasts and things have made it a way of life for us, right? I mean, it's a given in today's world. But yes, as an organization, we have enabled all those for our people.
Okay, in our case, whatever Madhavan mentioned about the, human aspect, how to, keep up and the in the new environment that is applicable. Along with that, we had actually, many of our employees were not very IT savvy. So we have to continuously update their knowledge, especially on the, the new apps, etc. so that they can explain to our customers. So what we did was we had a knowledge management system running through our intranet. So all the employees were given very easy to follow, easy to understand kind of audio visual clips for any new enhancement in a product or any new features or a risk management kind of thing. Everything we put we have used maximum digital form, and our training colleges or training schools were not active, so we used all those faculty members to design this audio visual kind of training material, which the employee can access. But then we found that many of them were not accessing. So then we have put some incentive, disincentive kind of thing also. They have to clear at least some of these for their annual increment or whatever. And we have enforced that, and that was a very good experience. And employees are updating on their new digital skills, etc. And similarly, they in turn actually educate the customers. When the customer comes to the branch, they explain, in future, you need not actually come to the branch for interest payment. You can use this app or you can use this web, that kind of thing. And if the customer is not having an internet banking account or anything, our branch staff actually help them, how to make use of it, or they can download the app and they can use it. That kind of training actually we are providing to customers also. So this is some of the way.
Thanks to both of you. I think, I'll pick up a couple of questions, maybe in not that order it has come, but I see a question from someone who says that I have a handicraft business which includes artisans and it is already online, while everybody is saying that we need to digitally transform. What else can I do? Let me give it a shot, and then maybe Mr. Madhavan or Mr. Nair can come in. I think, in today's world, you need to look around you and look at the ecosystem to evaluate what can be leveraged to better your business. You may not have to do everything on your own. And today there are marketplaces, etc., coming up to focus on businesses like yours, like MSME, SMB businesses, where they're trying to create an ecosystem where buyers and sellers can come and interact with each other, transact with each other, financial, loans, etc., can be brought in, logistics can be arranged for the delivery to the last mile. So I would say, look around to evaluate some of these options to scale the business, and then only thinking that I'll be able to do everything on my own or I have to develop everything of my own. Leverage what is best around you to integrate, and there are a lot of options available. Would be my take. Over to you, Mr. Nair or Mr. Madhavan, to give a perspective on the same.
I think one of the other things from other than what you mentioned, Shomik, I think those points that you mentioned were absolutely right, especially for people who are starting up business. Definitely do reach out for support from the others who can really help in that space. And in today's world, people are really looking out for each other as entrepreneurs, helping each other out. One of the other things I believe what can be done is trying to see how do you work with some large partners, because if let's say you have a website where you're already selling stuff and you have a bunch of customers who are doing it. The other part of it is about if a customer makes an order at on your website, how soon can you provide that service? One, how soon can you reach the product to the customer? Second, if the customer is not happy for whatever reason, how soon can you take it back and give a replacement or maybe a refund? It's about that logistics which plays a key role, because you and me both as customers, if you really look at it, let's say you order a shoe online, you really want to experience that product as soon as possible, and that's why you still believe and see that a lot of businesses continue to operate in a multimodal way where people really still want to go and experience the product. Now, this is about speed. If let's say you are within the country, how soon can your product reach your customer who has placed an order and he and she really wants to experience that product? That's where I think logistics players come into action. You really need to work with somebody like a Blue Dart who can, with their aircraft capabilities, can really move your products pan India at a real fast speed, and help you grow as a brand, because one is within India, the other piece is across the world. You can actually reach out across the world with somebody like us as partners, because we cover really the world. I mean, as DHL, we are the largest logistics company in the world. You really want to work with somebody like us. But that's about how you reach out, how you reach out to maybe a logistics company, how you reach out to a marketing company to get digitally placed well, whether through Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., 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 so that you have a lot more people visiting your website, and kind of being able to look at your product. I think that's the other key element to it.
Thanks, thanks. Really appreciate the responses. I think we are on top of the time. There was one question related to I think cyber attacks and frauds and safety. I think every technology that you evaluate, you need to ensure that you have looked at creating a very robust infrastructure to mitigate the risk of any such attacks. More and more we become digital, we will be prone to it. More and more we become online, we will be prone to it. It is up to us to ensure that we have the right technology resilience built in, and there are enough tools, technologies, services which CIOs and CEOs today give big importance. In fact, this is a boardroom conversation because this has an impact on brand, and hence there are absolutely top-notch conversations happening in the post-pandemic world to ensure that safety first in terms of data privacy, any kind of leaks, any kind of frauds, and have the right technology embedded in your digital transformation plan, which cannot be complete without doing the risk mitigation of it, or risk and compliance being kept out of the discussion. So I would probably answer the question in that manner. It was wonderful talking to both Mr. Madhavan and Mr. Nair, and my couple of takeaways very clearly that the digital transformation will be defined, derived, and executed, keeping business at the center. Business is key, and business will define how we adopt some of these technologies. Upskilling on digital assets, upskilling workforce is the center of key conversations, because at the end of the day, they have to deliver what you want to strategize. And any digital transformation is not a one-time job. It's a journey. You start small, start growing on it, you experiment, you may fail, you have to pick up yourself and run. There's a lot of technologies which will come to bear, but the lens with which you need to look at technology, as both of them said, is customer centricity, regulatory aspects of it, customer safety, and also the data safety aspects of the business. So over to you, host, with that, and thanks all the participants for being patient with us on this virtual world, listening to us, and also posing some very interesting questions. Over to you, host.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Goswami. Thank you, Mr. Nair. Thank you, Mr. Madhavan.
Thank you.
While I just request our eminent personalities, while you have exuded your knowledge in the panel discussion, to please just stick around for the next few minutes. We've just got 5 awards coming up, but we'd really like your words of encouragement to them towards the end. So we just got 5 awards, so I'd request Mr. Nair, Mr. Madhavan, and Mr. Goswami to please stick around for the same. So ladies and gentlemen, with our eminent personalities on your stage and screen, we're just now moving on to our next set of awards. Could we have the display of the awards, please? So ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible day this has been. And now we're moving on to our next set of awards, which is going to be starting with most digitally enabled organization. As you can see on your screen right there, most digitally enabled organization, and that goes to Nextwall Infotech Private Limited. Congratulations to Nextwall Infotech Private Limited. Virtual applause right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, Nextwall aims to provide future innovation solutions with a discover, develop, and deliver, which is the 3D approach for strategic IT, business process management, digital marketing, applications, and new age dynamic product requirements. So, congratulations to them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now moving on to the next award. Let's see, Digital Person of the Year. And that goes to the winner is, yes, you got it. It is Sanjay Sehgal, Chairman and CEO of the MSS Group. Congratulations to Sanjay Sehgal. Ladies and gentlemen, virtual applause right there with a lot of fanfare music for our winner, who is the Digital Person of the Year. So, ladies and gentlemen, well, Sanjay is the Chairman and the CEO of the MSS Group that includes the MSS Technologies, a reliable partner for product engineering services and a digital transformation project. The MSS Training, one of the North America's leading professional certification training providing company, and Mobinus is India's leading digital transformation and mobile app development company. He's somebody who's also internationally recognized keynote speaker, compulsive entrepreneur, global businessman, startup advisor, philanthropist, and most importantly, a mindful and a heartful human. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Rohit from the group who will be joining us live right now on behalf of Mr. Sanjay. So Rohit, if you can hear me. Yes, over to you, Rohit. Congratulations firstly to the group. Over to you.
Thanks, Bhavna. Hi, everyone. I'm Rohit Yadava, Chief Operating Officer at MSS Technologies, and accepting this award on behalf of our founder and CEO, Sanjay Sehgal. Sanjay is not here to personally accept this award, but he expresses his deep gratitude in receiving the Digital Person of the Year award. He would like to thank the jury and organizers of the IDEA Awards for this recognition. A little bit about MSys. Basically, at MSys, we closely partner with our clients around the world in their digital transformation journeys. And I know we talked a lot about it in this webinar. We focus on deep customer intimacy. I think that was one of the things that came up a lot, to enable our customers to meet their business objectives. We jointly innovate with them to provide enhanced customer experience for their products. Our digital expertise spans, in fact, the entire gamut of offerings, including user experience design, app development, cloud, DevOps, artificial intelligence, and IoT. Sanjay has been the driving force in our journey to make a difference in the digital landscape. And it is his vision that drives our growth, right? We would like to thank everyone who's been part of it, our customers, our employees who have been part of the journey and helped us grow even in these tough pandemic times. Thank you very much. Thanks, Papa.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations once again, Rohit. And do congratulate from our side, Sanjay Sehgal. So ladies and gentlemen, now moving on quickly, we've got two more awards coming up, rather three in this category. So first up, best use of data. And let's see who that goes to. The best use of data right on your stage and screen. And that goes to Moglix, everyone. Congratulations to the team out there. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the mission of Moglix is to reimagine B2B commerce and supply chain with technology. Well, we've got Sandeep Goyal joining us live from the group right now. Sandeep, over to you.
Thanks, Bhavna. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, perfect. Please go ahead.
Thanks a lot, and very, very encouraging to get this award. There is a saying that data is the new raw material in the industry. And if data is the raw material, we say that supply chain is the gold mine. You keep digging more and you keep getting more and more value. We have, of course, at Moglix, we have started our journey. It's a beginning. It's a long way to go. So much to do. And such awards are definitely a very big encouragement for us as well as the team. So thanks to the jury and Entrepreneur India for recognizing us. And thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And congratulations once again, Sandeep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, quickly moving on to the next two categories of award. First up, the best tech startup. So let's see who the winner is. We're talking about the best tech startup. And that goes to, ladies and gentlemen, Misho. A huge round of applause to the best tech startup. and gentlemen, Meesho is India's most trusted reseller platform. So congratulations, Meesho, for getting the Best Tech Startup. And ladies and gentlemen, the final award in this set, which is the India Digital Enabler Award. The India Digital Enabler Award, and that goes to, ladies and gentlemen, Tech Mahindra. Congratulations to Tech Mahindra. Ladies and gentlemen, Tech Mahindra represents a connected world, offering innovative and customer-centric information technology experiences, enabling enterprises, associates, and society to rise. So ladies and gentlemen, with this, we conclude with this set of awards. I'd really like to thank once again Mr. Nair, Mr. Madhavan, and Mr. Goswami for joining us. Just your words of encouragement, Mr. Nair. Just we've got a few more seconds to conclude this. Over to you, Mr. Nair, first.
Yeah, thank you for giving this opportunity. And as CIOs, I would say this is the golden time for us. I have been in the industry for last 4 decades. I have never seen this kind of recognition for the CIOs. It's not only due to the pandemic, but of course it is the this is an era of digital and knowledge. Naturally, the people are, our life is actually driven by digital technologies. So, for the CEO, the CIO is the, especially it has proven that during this pandemic time, the CIO is the, right hand as equal or better than the CFO. So, and that recognition is coming, and it has come, and all of us are happy. And going forward, our country itself is actually emerging as a digitally strong nation, and with all the innovations and the young generation which is coming up with a lot of ideas, we would be the country which will be recognized across the globe as leaders in the technology. So that is my final words.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Nair. Well, we're really falling short of time as our next speaker is right here. So I'd really like to thank Mr. Madhavan and Mr. Goswami as well. I'm sure the resounding statements would be the same, but apologetic on the time front, we'd really like to conclude. So once again, a big thank you to our panelists for giving us your time. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Madhavan. Thank you.